Welcome to episode 1 of the Mako Rugby Roundup podcast, where we find out who the fanatics are when it comes to all things rugby in the top of the South. My name is Chris Butler, and my co-host, the legendary Les Edwards. Hello again, Les.
Yeah, good to see you, Chris. Great to be on the show. We had a nice chat last week on a pilot episode, and we know that the show can work, that people enjoy the content, so I'm looking forward to getting into it as the season unfolds.
Yes, we did put the pilot up on our Facebook pages, and in fact we had one listener from Sydney. How's that?
That's pretty cool.
So that's awesome. Recapping last week's show, Nelson College took on Waimea College.
Yes, so it's a Waimea combined schools team, and it was an important derby game for both teams. Nelson College proving too strong, winning that by 55 points to 0.
Wow.
So, consolidating Nelson College's spot in the top 4, we talked about the state of the front field at Nelson College and the fact that it can become a quagmire, quite a bog, and in fact that's what happened, Chris. The ground looked great at kickoff, and by the time the game finished, it was a mud heap.
Right.
And so this reinforces the need that the Nelson College Old Boys Association have identified that something has to be done about it, that they're going to do some self-help, that they're raising funds to improve the drainage of the front field, and they introduced this concept called Adopt a Square.
Yes. Yeah, and I took that opportunity up. I bought 3 squares a couple of weeks ago, and I've been on that field and enjoyed the mud bath. I think a great concept, great cause. Yeah,
so I too bought a couple of squares, so they'll have to budge me off the halfway centre field, I guess, at some point during kickoff. But I'm looking forward to seeing people get in behind this initiative. And if you want to get involved, and it's $20 a square metre, which is very affordable, you just have to look at the Nelson College Facebook page or the Nelson College Old Boys Association website. So plenty of ways to get in touch with them. Very easy to purchase and adopt a square. So great initiative.
Nice work. I believe last week, Les, you did a bit of homework in the area of the under 85 kg team rugby competition, and you came across a team in the top of the South.
Yeah, so the under 5 kg national competition is the brainchild of Sir Graham Henry. The whole idea is to create rugby for people who aren't big, massive humans who are, of that lighter side, and it's an opportunity to play very fast attacking rugby, wait for age if you like, concept. And we were talking about how good it would be to have a team representing Nelson Bays in that. One of our listeners got in touch and reminded me or advised me that, in fact, the Central Club in Blenheim have entered the 85 kgs knockout stages of the national competition for the last 2 years. So it's awesome to know that already there's interest. So they played in the middle division of New Zealand, the Central Division. This last week they played a preliminary round against OBU from Wellington and lost it by 6 points to 5, so they're knocked out. But
wow, that was a close match.
It is a close match. But the concept is there, and it's something that I personally, along with my new colleague, Nick Worthington, who's the commercial and marketing manager at the Union, very keen to embrace, because he's playing in that competition representing a club up in Counties Manukau called Karaka currently, but he's keen to play that sort of division again next year.
So, never know, might have a Nelson team. The match of the weekend last weekend was Korangi versus Marist. I believe you got a chance to go and see it, Les?
Yeah, I went out to Sports Park Motueka. What a massive crowd there was too. You know, I really love the resurgence and interest in club rugby that I'm seeing all around our fields. But yeah, a big crowd at Sports Park Motueka. And this was an important game because both Korangi and Marist are knocking on the door of that fourth spot that's available to be in the playoffs of the Tasman Trophy, the Stuffed Tasman Trophy. And, I went there expecting that Marist would give Kahurangi a real good tussle, especially in the forward pack, and that proved to be the case for the first half. But Kahurangi were awesome. They just dug deep, defended so well in their forward pack, and in the end, in the second half, ran away with it to win by 34 points to 18. And one of the players that came on in the second half for Kahurangi was Willie Havili at first 5'8".
Wow.
You know, the Tasman Mako and
Yes.
Manu Samoa player. Oh my, he made a difference. And
Right.
so on the back of a really good effort by their forward pack in containing Marist, went on to win. So they're very much in the box seat with a game in hand to try and get that fourth spot that currently is held by Wanderers.
Right, okay. First 15 rugby, and Nelson College are taking on Christchurch Boys High School.
Yes, on that front field that's currently a mud heap. So this is a big game. You know,
Yeah.
Nelson is 2 and Christchurch Boys High School are we're third and they're second in the comp. So this is a really critical game, and the field's a mess, so they're going to play there. And then they've got another home game on Tuesday against Shirley Boys High. So
On the same field.
well, maybe they'll look at playing that somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really is an issue with the amount of rain that we get some winters here in Nelson that the Nelson College old boys need to get that field drained and all purpose.
Just to digress a little bit, it's a discussion I was having during the week because involved in a project with Saxon Field just about promoting the facilities. And the question came up about if we're to attract tournaments during this time of the year to our region, the lack of ability to have grounds open and therefore training pitches, artificial pitches or other types of pitches in the region. So perhaps that's a discussion for another time, Les, but it's a real issue in our region.
I think we should deal with it as a subject. I know that Councillor Tim Skinner's really keen to get some sort of synthetic surfaces going, and I assume it's not just for football, that it would be a multi-code type investment. I know that he's been a champion of it at a council level. It hasn't got passed at this stage, but we've got a new council coming in.
Yes.
I think if we devote a time and get someone like Tim on and talk about it,
that's a good idea.
It'd be awesome.
Okay. All right. Waimea combined, they're away to St Thomas's.
Yeah, so this will be a very tough game because currently Waimea combined a 12th spot and they're playing the number 1 ranked team at St Thomas's of Canterbury. So that'll be a tough road trip, but enjoy your rugby, boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every game you learn something and you progress in your school levels. So just enjoy the road trip for what it is.
Absolutely. Senior Club Rugby, the NBS Women's Tasman Trophy, and the match of the round, Marist versus Kahurangi in Te Hunanui.
Yeah, Te Hunanui playing field. So this is Team 1 versus Team 4. But that's not to say it won't be quality rugby. I've seen both these teams run around. Marist are a big team and some elusive backs, and Kahurangi are very young. But I think Kahurangi will be so much stronger in the future. They've got Motueka High School is
Yes.
a grounds a ground spring for women's and female rugby.
Yes.
So
and they've done very well in touch football too in the past. So. I just think that it's a great opportunity. And this combined Kahurangi concept, of a team, male and female, supported by Huia and Rewaka rugby clubs is just great. Yeah, fantastic. All right, well, good luck to those teams. The Stuffed Tasman Trophy, now probably 3 games to focus on. We've got Renwick versus Central, which is 1 and 2, but Renwick are a game ahead. So behind them is Central with a game in hand. We've got Wanderers versus Stoke and Waimea Old Boys versus Kahurangi. So talk through, because we're getting nearer to needing to decide the top 4. So talk us through those games.
Yes, so Renwick versus Central, if you're in Marlborough, get along to this. This is the first time in a while where Marlborough clubs have held 1 and 2 spots on the table.
Yeah.
So rejoice in that.
Yes.
And get along to Renwick domain. Both teams are very competent. They're marvellous, in fact. I've seen Central play. I saw Renwick get beaten by Stoke, but that was an off day for them. It's the only loss they've had. So I think it's going to be a terrific game. Renwick v Central at 3 p.m. at Renwick Domain. The game of the round in Nelson Bays is for sure for me Wanderers versus Stoke. So this is Wanderers fourth on the table playing Stoke, who are third. So, and then you've got the game in Jubilee Park, Waimea Old Boys versus Kahurangi. Now Kahurangi will win, therefore I believe they will win.
Right, that's your prediction.
That's my prediction. So therefore, whoever loses between Wanderers and Stoke is in Kahurangi's firing line, because they've got a match in hand. They've only played 4 games, the others have played 5, and Renwick's played 6. So,
yes, that's right.
A really important game at Brightwater Domain. I'll be out there for that, so I'll give you a bit of a review next week, Chris. But it will be live streamed on the Tasman Community Rugby Facebook page.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Okay, Les, it's time to get on the phone, and he is Mako number 27. He's played 29 games at hooker. He's co-head coach with Gray Cornelius. It's a welcome to the show, Dan Perrin. Hi, Dan.
Good morning, mate. How we going?
Very well, mate. Hey, listen, congratulations on your appointment. How excited are you to be co-head coach of the Tasman Mako?
Oh, mate, it's always been a dream to coach where I played, and this union gave me my opportunity as a player, so to be able to give back and help set up some young men to success and take pride in the province is extremely excited and extremely privileged to be in this position, so I can't wait.
So you're going to be co-head coach with Gray Cornelius. Tell us a bit about Corny.
He's a top man. We've worked together for a few years now in a number of teams, and he's got an excellent rapport with the players. His ability to be able to engage them and get them to learn is pretty unique, and the way he coaches and his mannerisms are right up there. So technically and tactically really sound as well. So he's a really good man. Loves the attack side of the game. Got a real nous for the game and understanding of what it takes to win. And he's been a passionate Mako and a local lad over in Blenheim too. So yeah, looking forward to working with him.
So do I take it that means you're going to have more of a focus on the forwards?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep, I'm sort of looking after the low numbers, the big boys. So Corny looks after the backs predominantly and runs a team attack. And yeah, I'll be there looking after the set piece, making sure he gets that top quality ball there.
Oh, excellent. It all starts up front, Dan, as we know. So you got the big job. The last time we had co-coaches, of course, was 2020, and we won the premiership under that sort of coaching regime.
No pressure, Les.
So, Dan, you got a job to do.
No, pressure's a privilege, mate. Mate, we've only ever seen the co-head coach model working in Tasman, Corny and I, and even last year it was more Goody and Chow working together than Goody himself. So, it's just the secret to success potentially for us here in Tasman. There's a lot of chat around co-head coaches, but we've got a real good open relationship amongst the whole coaching group, and I don't think there's one of us that's any more prevalent than the other, and we're really open in discussions and have real good conversations about the team and where we're going. So to be able to share that with Corny and obviously Jimmy Ma and Hawani's, really exciting.
Yeah, no, look, it's the way rugby's gone. Leadership groups now rather than leaders. We see that with the players as well. There's always a strong leadership group driving the team as well. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing, Dan, and already we can see in the office just the energy that's coming out of the team room, the coaches' rooms, with all of you guys, including the strength and conditioning and physio, all engaged in prepping for the season. So we wish you very well. It was a big week, wasn't it, for Tasman, with 3 teams named awarding black jerseys to various players, which started, of course, with the announcement of 5 All Blacks from Tasman. How did you feel about that announcement?
Oh, mate, it's always really exciting. Just as excited as probably the players. I think us coaches, we all huddled around the TV screen and zoomed in. Gray and Hawani from Blenheim were all sitting there nervously waiting as well, and we're really excited for them, to have guys obviously reselected, and Leicester being a new addition, thoroughly deserved as well, might I add. You're really proud for the province and really proud moment for the players. So, yeah, we're sharing their excitement.
I mean, it's a tough gig, isn't it, Dan? Because the Mako team over the years has grown and obviously won the premiership, and all of a sudden the teams become in focus, and next they're All Blacks, and you lose them. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it just provides another young fella with an opportunity to take it, and that's how we view it. These guys have earned the right. All they're doing is paving the pathway for someone else to come into their jersey. And as you've seen, and as we'll probably talk about, there's some real exciting young talent around this place, and we're looking forward to those guys getting their opportunities in the next year or two.
Yeah, so to summarise that, we lose Finlay Christie, Davey Harvilli, Will Jordan and Sevu Reece and Lester Whanganuku to the ABs in their campaigns, but yeah, there are 5 young men ready to fill their shoes. But just before we move on, you get back Shannon Frizzell and you get back, Tyrell Lomax.
Yeah, so I think in Shannon's situation, I think just being injured through the back end of Super Rugby, just didn't quite have the fitness levels and the game time from what we're hearing to go straight into Test Rugby. It's a fairly big step up. So, yep, we'll welcome him back with open arms for a few rounds at Tassie, but all things being equal, I'd like to think he'd be selected for the Bledisloe campaign for the All Blacks if he's fit and healthy. And with Lowy, there's it's interesting selections up top with who they've gone with, and I feel I had Lowy in the All Blacks team. I think his work rate around the field coincided with his scrummaging. He sets him apart. He's got really nice soft skills for a tight head prop around the footy field, and scrumming's only one part. But he'll fight his way back in there. He's only a young prop, and he's still got a lot of development to do. So I'm sure he'll be back in black no time soon.
Yeah, so obviously the selectors were a bit concerned about the Irish front row, and they've gone with some old heads, but I agree with you. I think Tyrell Lomax at 25 years of age is very much the future, and no doubt he will get more All Black tests as his career unfolds. So congratulations to those 5 All Blacks. But Tyrell Lomax, of course, did get selected as a Maori All Black along with Alex Nankerville. So great for them to put on a black jersey in July. Yeah,
he'll still get his crack against the Irish, won't he? So he'll have a bit between his teeth for that one.
Yeah, he's got a bit to prove, hasn't he, in those midweek features for Maori All Blacks versus Ireland. So, yeah, it'll be great viewing, that's for sure. Now, the third team where black jerseys were handed out is an area where you have a great interest and background. So it's the under-20s. You were coach of Tasman under-19s in the past. You must be so proud to, for the first time ever, have 5 Tasman players named in the under-20s, the most we've ever had before being 2 in a tournament. Yeah, you proud about that?
Oh, mate, extremely proud. These young fellas have worked tirelessly since they left school. They've earned the right, they've put in the work, and now they're getting a little bit of reward for it. So to appreciate what these guys do in a semi-professional environment at 18, 19, 20 years old is really unique. In any sport, I'd suggest, having to work and study and gym at ungodly hours and then perform on a set day, to be able to put themselves in these situations is the work ethic that's required to make it at that level, and the character and attitude these guys show is, really proud, mate. And coming from Tasman under-19s and also coaching the Crusader under-20s, I think 5 players from Tasman and 7 from Canterbury, so 11 all up for the Crusaders under-20s to make that New Zealand under-20 team's just phenomenal, and some outstanding numbers getting produced in the top of the South. So
yeah. It's a feather, all right. Chris, just so that our listeners know, those 5 players are Mako Springer from Waimea Old Boys, Noah Hotham Nelson Club, Viliami Napa'a from Waitoi, and those 3 played last year for the Mako. They made their debuts last year when we had a whole lot of All Blacks and injuries out. And the other 2 are Monu Molly from Wanderers and Nicola Vaikena from Maris. So absolutely proud as punch for these young men.
I mean, Dan, one of the big pluses about the Mako Concept franchise is just the ability now to recognise the depth that we've got in the region, and now the opportunity to just play at a much higher level, not only in New Zealand but overseas.
Yeah, that's correct, mate. And the pathway that's now being provided in the top of the South. And I just want to recognise the work of our first 15s, our 3 schools in the region that play in the Press Cup, Waimea combined. Nelson College and Marlborough boys are producing some outstanding humans with great character first and foremost, but an outstanding skill set and level of understanding of what it's going to take coming out of school to be able to succeed as a rugby player. So those 3 schools are doing some outstanding work along with the other schools that play rugby in the under 18 and second 15 levels, and that's just producing the talent that we know we've got in the region for us to be able to succeed at the Mako. It's I remember reading an article the other day. I think it was about 2009 when New Zealand Rugby were threatening to pull the pin on Tasman. There was an article and stuff that popped up in one of my social media feeds, and reading that and what could have happened and all the opportunities that may have been lost from that now we have and these young people have is, really, really proud of what this union's achieved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we often look back and discuss those tough times, but without the vision of guys like Max Spence and Shane Drummond and the Mulburian side who decided that they didn't want to be Red Devils but would support the Mako concept, it is marvellous that everyone dug deep and saved the Mako from being booted out by NZR in 2009, and it's created this great pathway for young men to come out, and women to come out of our schools and colleges and progress through the ranks. So, stuff that the coaching group are awfully pleased about, I'm sure. So, last but not least, we approach the Mako season. Your first game is on the 7th of August against Southland for the Clark Dermody Cup in Blenheim. So, what's going on with regard to the build-up towards that? Yeah,
well, 28 players involved in Super Rugby, Les. They're all starting to trickle back now. There's obviously a few involved in the final on Saturday night, which is going to be a ripper and a great occasion for both teams and our players involved in that. And so a few of them are still on, they get a 2-week break after Super Rugby depending on where they've finished. So we've had a few guys from Moana Pacifica, the Fijian Drua, the Highlanders start trickling back into Nelson, and you'll see a few of them partaking in club rugby over the next couple of weeks, which is really exciting. They were keen to get back here, seeing Luca Inch and Willie Havili for Kaharangi this weekend. Jim Tavatavanawa, the difference, was back the week after Super Rugby running water for Central. So these guys love coming back into the region. So we're just connecting with them, setting them up for what's going to be a short and extremely tough NPC campaign. We've got a tough run. If you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best this year. And we're setting these guys up for a good 12-week run and getting to the back end of the post-season final series and setting ourselves up for that. So a lot of planning's being done. Now it's just bringing the players together and getting them excited for the campaign.
Well, Dan, we really appreciate your time on the show, and we wish you all the best for the coming season. It's going to be a lot of work, but looks like you've got a lot of talent there to experiment with, and we're really excited and looking forward to the season, and all the best with you and Gray, and we hope to have you back on the show again when we can see how the season's going.
Yeah, more than happy to jump back on, and thanks very much for the opportunity, so look forward to it.
Yeah, cheers, Dan.
Fins up, DP.
Fins up, mate.
Cheers, lads. Fins up.
There you go, Les. That's Dan Perrin, who's the co-coach with Gray Cornelius for the Tasman Mako. So a new coaching team. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, so they were assistant coaches last year, as he alluded, to Goody and Shane Christie. So they've been in the family, and they're joined by a couple of new assistants, as he mentioned, James Marshall, Jimmy Ma, and Hawani McDonald from over in Blenheim. So that's really exciting. It's a good group, and he has a wonderful manner about him. He will be an excellent communicator with his team. He'll be firm but fair, but his communication is one of his strengths, and also he's really keen about community engagement for the Mako during the course of the season. So we look forward to talking to all of the coaches over the next few weeks, but getting Dan back at the pointy end will also be marvellous. So, yeah, excellent conversation with our co-head coach, Dan Perrin.
Okay, Les, it's the Super Rugby Pacific Final, and mate, you were right. Only just, but you were right.
Yeah, so Crusaders were far too strong for the Chiefs. You know, I mean, it wasn't the most attractive rugby game when you've got 222 defensive tackles and the penalty count's 14-4, and you know, but the referee never actually penalised the Crusaders because they were the dominant team, even though they were doing all of the defending. They didn't look like losing, you know, so that's important, and they are well drilled when it comes to this time of the year. Scott Robertson knows exactly how to win, and often it's what you do without the ball that makes a big difference.
Defence wins games, doesn't it? Often wins tournaments.
Absolutely, and it nearly lost the Blues a semi-final against the Brumbies. So they started very well in the first half, had a good lead, 20 points to 7, but then the Brumbies came back, and it was in the end the Blues just hanging on, maybe thanks to a couple of interesting calls that they did hang on, but it's always good when the best team in the whole comp plays in the final. So I'm happy that it is Blues hosting Crusade.
The Brumbies could have stole it, went for the drop kick. What a block.
Yeah, by big offer.
I mean, I don't think he jumped, did he? He didn't jump, he just put his hands up. But that came out of the Blues, so, saved the day. But really, it's a repeat for the New Zealand Super Rugby round. And can the Crusaders come back and pinch it?
Well, this I do know. There are 55,000 people going, and I would say that 54,000 will be wearing blue.
That's right.
So it will be a cauldron at Eden Park, and that will work in the Blues' favour. Look, it's a line ball game. I think the TAB have got it right. They've got one at $1.80 and the other at $1.90. Right. Yeah. They've got the Blues as favourites, but they agree that it's a line ball game. Look, I'll tip the Blues by 12 and under. And I know that some of my Crusader friends who are listening would think that I've got rocks in my head, but I just think they are the number one team, and this home ground advantage and this crowd is going to really work well.
They'll be up for it, won't they? And I think Crusaders will definitely be disappointed that they lost the New Zealand round, so they'll be up for it. It's going to be an amazing game.
Yes.
All right, Les. Well, look, thank you once again for co-hosting the show. Pleasure having you on. It's an exciting part of the season, isn't it? We're coming to the finals of club rugby. And then we're going into a Mako season. We've got All Black games coming up.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to talk about. We look forward to speaking to you again next week. So that wraps things up. My thanks to Dan Perrin, co-coach of the Tasman Mako, and of course Leslie Edwards. The podcast you can hear on talknelson.co.nz or on the Facebook page, and on Fresh FM 9 p.m. Every Friday night. And we'll speak to you again next week on Mako Rugby Roundup. Have a great weekend.